looking at the box score of this game, the other thing that really stands out is the performance of DK Metcalf.
Oh,
so
well,
I can look at it
for a good reason.
I can look at it and say, wow, he caught 7 passes for 160 yards and a touchdown. So as people who watched from beginning to end, do you feel like DK Metcalf, like, was he already there? Was this the game where he announced his presence? Like, is this DK Metcalf saying, hey, I'm everything you dreamed I could be when you drafted me?
I think so, because there was I heard some of the post game guys on the radio talking about it, where some of the plays that he had, or maybe it was on the TV copy. I'm trying not to give Chris Collinsworth anything good that he said, but I think he might have actually said this. One of those balls he dropped earlier in the year, and in this one, it seemed like every slight thing that he did wrong during the year came to life in this game, and he did them all perfectly. Like, the last catch, he didn't kind of wait for it and try and catch it in his body and hope that the DB doesn't get a finger on it. He stopped and he jumped up and he caught it at the highest point he possibly could. It was beautiful. On the touchdown catch, full extension, as much as you can be without diving, so much so that he falls down after another step. And the athleticism to get back up before he's touched down on the ground and then dive into the end zone through a guy, like, DK. And then there was another one on the sideline where Russell's scrambling out, and so DK takes off down the sideline, but the corner's, like, on him, like, completely on him, and Russell just throws it to him. And he, like, reaches around back shoulder through contact and pulls it in. Like, it was over and over and over again. It seemed like if they threw to him, he not only was making a catch, but was making a difficult catch. Like, it was impressive. And when you're 6'4" and jacked like he is, like, if I was Green Bay, I would worry about thinking I had to double Tyler Lockett, because I'm thinking that I'm going to have to double DK Metcalf. But we've seen what Tyler does when he's single covered. He goes out for 11 catches and 100 yards.
Well, and we saw the catch he made today, which was overshadowed by Metcalf's stats. But
that was dirty.
Tyler Lockett made a catch that no one in that stadium thought it was a catch.
No. I watched the
Real
replay
time.
twice before somebody pointed out that he got 2 feet in, because I thought his only shot was getting a knee down. I really felt like DK just busted out on this one, because there were times where Tyler was being doubled. And it seemed like the focus was more on him, and DK was like, all right. And Russell was like, all right. And he just threw it to him over and over and over again in the biggest situations.
And that's awesome, because it's not like Russell has enough time to make sure somebody's open.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point.
Do you guys sometimes feel lately like in a key moment, Russell tends to be more likely to throw to DK Metcalf than Tyler Lockett? Not that I'm driving at the fact that I wonder who the number 1 receiver is going to be going into next season, but I'm curious the way that Metcalf seems to have come on. And despite the fact that, like you mentioned, he's had some drops and other miscues throughout the season, Russell really seems to trust him in a way that maybe he only trusted Doug Baldwin before.
I think that he trusts Tyler Lockett in the same way. Okay. I really do.
Especially
Lockett's
with struggling the last, 6 weeks?
He had one big week.
Ever since that injury.
He had a big week against Carolina. 8 catches for 120 yards and a touchdown. But besides that, since the injury, he hasn't gotten over 51 yards until 62 yards in this game.
Yeah, so I really feel like when Tyler's healthy, Russell trusts him the same that he trusted Doug Baldwin, because we were starting to see that same type of production. And then going into next year, I don't think you have to have one of them be the number 1 receiver. They're so different. I mean, they are so different. And
as different as you can be.
How awesome is it to have that, where one guy probably could be one of the best slot receivers in the league, but also, hey, he's really good on the outside, even though he's short. And then on the other side, you got your stereotypical Calvin Johnson-looking dude who can just start. I mean, he was mossing people. He was just going over it. And it was just, when you have both of those on the same team, you don't really need to designate at what, like, good luck. You have to double team one of them.
Right.
Can you imagine if Calvin Johnson had an MVP level quarterback his entire career?
Oh, goodness.
And I would like to point out that you just compared DK Metcalf to Calvin Johnson and Randy Moss in the same sentence.
Okay, so the Randy Moss one is
I'm with it.
So He is a lot like Calvin Johnson to me. I know I'm not saying that he's going to be Calvin Johnson, but you look at the trajectory of their careers. Calvin Johnson also played for a college that didn't know how to use him, and they just said, hey, run straight down the field. It was pretty similar. Like, he did not have amazing college numbers, and yet he turned into what he is. And so I think that there could be a comparison there. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. But
fingers crossed, knock on wood, he's better than Calvin Johnson because his knees don't fall apart.
I mean, that would be cool. Calvin Johnson was really highly regarded coming out of college, though. He was like I think he was the 4th overall pick or something, and a lot of the draft people thought that he should have gone number 1 or number 2.
yeah. And then you had DK Metcalf, who after the combine, everybody loses their mind and thinks that he's going to be like a top 10 pick. And then for some reason, still unknown to us, he drops to the last pick of the 2nd round, and the Seahawks are like,
it seems weird.
wait a second.
Yeah.
I know we didn't want a receiver, but DK Metcalf's still there.
It
like,
seems
was
weird
bizarre.
that he fell so far, but it was like a
Now Andrew's trying to break stuff.
it was like a shuttle run, like he.
Yeah, it was that stupid quickness test.
Yeah, it was the quickness test.
But
that
it's like,
made him drop.
what? It doesn't make sense to me. Like, you can look at it like that, but that test is not showing how you run a route. And everybody grabbed that number and was like, oh, so you can't get in and out of breaks. And it's like, you do realize that there is zero route where you go this way and stop, and then go this way and stop, and then go right back this way, right? Like, there's no route that does that.
Have you ever watched Doug Baldwin while Russell is scrambling? Because he did that.
Yeah, but you know what DK doesn't have to do is go back and forth. You just go long. You're taller than everybody.
That's
like,
true. I guess
box out.
Yeah, exactly. You're massive. Just go. Doug Baldwin couldn't spread out and box a dude out because he was tiny.
Well, I guess part of the reason why this is so interesting to me is because since we've talked so much about things I was right about today, I was at the beginning of the season just telling everybody, okay, be ready, be prepared to be disappointed by DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
And I am so happy to be wrong about this. See, that's what I do as a fan. I set myself up for win-win situations.
So you said that he had a big game, 7 catches, 160 yards.
Yeah.
Did you also know that is a new rookie playoff record?
I did not know that.
For 160 yards is a rookie playoff receiving record.
Wow, that's amazing.
You want to know whose record he broke?
Randy Moss.
No.
Calvin Johnson.
No. Zach Miller, and we're not sure which one.
It's gotta be. It has to be Raiders Zach Miller, right?
I don't know. Wasn't there one for the Bears?
There was one. There was another Zach Miller. They played at the same time.
And they both played tight end.
But I think that.
And the articles I found didn't designate which one was which.
I think that Raiders Zach
No one
Miller
knows.
was really good immediately, though. Wasn't the other Zach Miller tight end just kind of meh?
Yeah, but I thought I remembered him having some weird big games or something like that. I can't. Anyway, if you know which Zach Miller it was.
Please tell us. We are incapable of finding information.
Yeah.
My excuse is that I'm the old man of the group who doesn't know how to technology.